On today's special Mortal Kombat 1 Khaos Reigns News MashUp, spooky season has arrived to Mortal Kombat 1 with Khaos Reigns, a fan favorite cameo makes a cameo, and MK community is yet again divided. That and more. What's up guys, welcome to the Mortal Kombat News MashUp, the special Khaos Reigns edition where I read on all latest news in Mortal Kombat 1, specifically Khaos Reigns, that you might have missed. So let's get to it. First up, Data Miner Interloco has revealed details for the upcoming Halloween content coming to Mortal Kombat 1. In the details, he specifically breaks down individual towers that are coming to Mortal Kombat 1 as well as the rewards you can earn from doing the towers. So there will be 5 towers for Halloween. All these towers have 3 fights: Survive, Test Your Might, Mini Boss, and Final Boss. And he kind of gives a specific breakdown for each one. So for Tower 1, it's going to be called Happy Halloween. And it's going to have Scorpion, Ermac, Reptile, Survive Blood Orb, Test Your Might Gargoyle, Mini Boss Raiden, and then Boss Smoke. Then we have Tower number 2, which is titled Blood and Guts. The contents is going to have Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, Sindel. Their survive mode is going to be Falling Herds. Test Your Might Nether Skull, Mini General Shao, and Boss Rico. Tower number 3 is going to be Fabulous Tower. That's going to be Ashra, Natara, Kung Lao. Survive is Johnny Cage. Test Your Might Nether Skull, Mini Katana, and Boss Melina. And then we have Tower number 4, which is Trick or Treat. We're gonna have Rain, Garrus, Kinchi, Survive Pumpkin Drop. That one sounds fun. Test Your Might Skull, Mini Havoc, and Boss Li Mei. And then finally finishing out the spooky towers is gonna be the Devil's Night. That one's gonna be Raiden, Liu Kang, Baraka, Survive Corpse Drops, Test Your Might Zombie Arm, Mini Sub-Zero, and Boss Johnny Cage. I think that was a missed opportunity not to have Liu Kang on that one. Possibly more like the Remnant skin. That'd be kind of cool to have it because it's kind of a zombie theme, and Remnants, either him or Sindel or somebody. But maybe missed opportunity there. He goes on to reveal that every tower has rewards, including skins for each boss from each tower. So like he's pretty much saying, so for like the first tower, it's Smoke, so there's gonna be skins for Smoke, for Reiko, Melina, so on and so forth. And then it goes on to say that also Halloween themed combat card backgrounds and cutie icons, with the Melina cutie being exclusive to Tower 3. So you can see from the photo that I'm showing you that there's quite a bit of Halloween themed rewards, and the one that shows Melina specifically with her mouth and with the blood and stuff like that, that one's going to be exclusive to Tower 3. User Dan, aka @SteelBlade on X, commented on the Johnny Cage skin saying, "The skins seem fine. Would have been better if they did the Halloween themed skins instead of the same skins with a different palette, but I'll take it." Along with 2 images of Halloween themed skins for Johnny Cage of him as a mummy and as a vampire. And I've seen multiple people online talk about how they wish they'd bring back some of the Halloween themed skins they did from Mortal Kombat X and Mortal Kombat 11. I think 11 had some really good ones. The Teen Wolf Johnny Cage and stuff like that. There was some Day of the Dead stuff. I think they should have kind of revamped some of those or make them. It'd be kind of cool if they make some of that content available from the old to the new. Just saying. In addition to the Halloween towers and rewards, Interloco also revealed that there will be new modifiers for invasions. In a tweet he shared, he said, "There will be new Halloween modifiers for invasion. This time it's related to Ermac Souls, but they're calling it Ghost." Interesting. So a lot of Halloween themed content coming to Mortal Kombat 1 via Khaos Reigns and the spooky season. In other Khaos Reigns content news, the pricing for Khaos Reigns was actually compared to other fighting game expansion packs, and the results might surprise you. So on Reddit, an image was posted comparing the pricing and contents of the Mortal Kombat 1 Khaos Reigns expansion pack to Street Fighter 6's Year 2 pass and the Tekken 8 Season 1 pass. I know, already Season 1, it's already gone for Tekken, but the Mortal Kombat Reign one specifically, it's priced at $50 and comes with 6 characters, 2 hours of story expansion, and 16 costumes, 12 included and 4 with pre-order. The Street Fighter 6 Year 2 pass is priced at $40 and comes with 4 characters, 4 additional colors per character, and 4,200 in-game currency monies. Tekken 8 Season 1 pass is priced at $40 as well and comes with 4 characters, 3 days early access to new characters, and 1 gold suit skin for every character. So while it's the most expensive of the 3, based on what comes included, it would seem that Mortal Kombat 1 Khaos Reigns seems to be the best bang for the buck and has the best value. Surprise, surprise, who would have thought that? This is interesting given fans have been criticizing NetherRealm Studios about how expensive Khaos Reigns is and what they get for it. Many are still holding out for the Combat Pack 2 only being available, individually, and, the specific pricing for those. The official Mortal Kombat website states that Combat Pack 2 is not available separately. So they want you to buy this, either the expansion pack or the bundle or the whole collection. But the Thinny tweeted that, his thoughts on Khaos Reigns Combat Pack 2 DLC and their availability. In his tweet, he said, guest characters will have a 1-week early access for Khaos Reign holders. This means that they will be available for purchase separately 1 week after their release. This could also mean that Noob, Cyrax, and Sector should be available live this Tuesday. They were also not this week, but that did not happen. User rzombie also shared the release date info for the current trio, saying the facts page for Mortal Kombat 1 KHAOS Reigns says that Noob, Cyrax, and Sector are going to be released separately on October 15th. So that would put it more, not this upcoming week, but the following week. So more likely that's going to be what's going to come out. So not a whole lot of, less than a month's time wait to get that pack, but nonetheless, it's interesting to see that really Mortal Kombat 1 KHAOS Reigns, even though we may not always agree about how the story goes, it still seems to be the better value compared to other fighting games and what you get for it, even if it is just $10 more. So let me know your thoughts and comments down below. What do you feel about that? Now, in leaked news, an unused character was found in leaked concept art for Khaos Reigns, and this is where a cameo makes a cameo. Interloco shared a piece of concept art on X from Khaos Reigns of World War II Johnny Cage and Major Blade being amongst other soldiers in what looks like the heat of battle in the chaos-stricken Edenia in Titan Havoc's timeline. In his tweet, he said, Khaos Reigns story mode, spoiler alert, there is a dialogue of World War II Johnny where he mentions Major Blade. This is the line. These corridors go on and on like my old CO damn Major Blade could talk. Many, including myself, were curious where this concept art kind of came from. And Interloco basically just put out there and said that it was found in game files. It's part of the Chaosium concept art. I guess you get this when you unlock the stage. So I guess the question is, why did they hide it that way? Why didn't they include her in there? So while it makes sense that this became a hidden piece of info since Sonya Blade isn't a playable character, much less just had, she didn't have any importance to the story, so I don't know why we would actually bring her unless she's going to die instantly after we see her. But with as many fans want to see her return, it would have been nice to throw us a bone and at least give her a World War II cameo skin or something. That would have made more sense, right? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. But, a lot of us have been wanting to see Sonya Blade come back, but I just don't know that the story has been right. We got Stryker as a cameo, and we got her as well. But as far as the actual story goes, I guess Johnny Cage just made more sense to the story. But what do you think about the major Sonya Blade cameo and concept art? So it's been over a week since the Khaos Reigns expansion pack came out, and now it's time to highlight what some of the critics have been sharing their thoughts. I posted my lengthy Khaos Reigns in-depth review and breakdown, so you're more than welcome to go watch it there. I basically break down every chapter and give my thoughts as I go, and then my final thoughts and what I think about where we should go from here. But, shout out to the MK Source on Twitter for basically sharing these individually. But this is kind of just a good spread. And to be honest, it's much of what people are saying on X. So we're all kind of saying the same thing. But Metacritic, as of this recording, gave the game a score of 59 points out of 100 out of 11 critic reviews. And the user score is 2.1 out of 5. And that's out of 15 user ratings. So, we're about 50, a little over 50% there. Push Square gave the expansion pack a 5 out of 10, with the pros being that the pack has some great new fighters, the animalities are fun and free, and a new character in the villain role, while the cons for the pack are that it's very expensive for what you get, even though that doesn't seem like it compared to the games that we just talked about. Johnny Cage is very unfunny, specifically saying a majority of the humor in the expansion pack falls completely flat, but Johnny is the worst. Just maybe a little bit of a Johnny Cage hater there. It doesn't fix Mortal Kombat 1's many issues, and it scrapes the barrel for cameos. So that was Push Square. Fellow Hookshot Media site Pure Xbox gave the game a 6 out of 10, with the pros for the pack being that it has action-packed cinematics, plenty of cool fight scenes, new roster additions, and that the gameplay is still fun. So that's good. While the cons for the pack are that the expansion pack only lasts a handful of hours. I can agree with that. The story feels like a side quest. I specifically saying that Havoc's timeline shenanigans never really feel like a high-stakes main mission and that the price is overpacked. I do agree that I feel like it kind of fell short as far as the climactic ending of the expansion pack. I think we could have really done some more damage, in a chaotic way, but, we got what we got. Again, compared to other fighting games, it seems like it's pretty fair for what we got, to be honest. Okay, Gaming Bolt scored Khaos Reigns with a 7 out of 10, which is, we're getting better, we're getting higher. Saying, I think it's generally setting the series in exciting new directions, but the occasionally shoddy writing and lack of emotional dynamics between Sector and Cyrax. They said, overall the good was that Noob Saibot is amazing, Havoc is a well-developed character, excellent visuals, and strong voice acting, and animalities are back, and they're better than ever. I agree that the animalities, it was fun to see people online guessing to see what character would turn into what animal. I already see people talking about Ghostface and stuff like that, but it was just I got people excited again. While overall the bad was that the expansion pack had weak writing in some places, I can agree with that, and Sector and Cyrax's backstory is undercooked. Their final verdict was that the Khaos Reigns was good, saying Mortal Kombat 1 Khaos Reigns is not without its flaws, but it will appeal to most hardcore fans thanks to strong performance by the actors behind Havoc and Noob Saibot, excellently directed cutscenes, and the brutal animalities, and I can agree with that. Gaming Trend gave Khaos Reigns a 60 out of 100, saying that while the story technically moves things along for the characters, the actual dynamics between Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and everyone else remain virtually unchanged from the opening cutscene to the end, with the final word from the reviewer, Jack Zustiak, being that Khaos Reigns doesn't shake up Mortal Kombat as much as a chaotic regime implies. Totally agree. That's what I always said throughout my whole review. Instead, it sticks to what works, or at least what it thinks will work. More story mode, more ninjas, and more guest characters. For me, the ninjas steal the show over a weak story and an unexciting, although yet to be released, guest ensemble. I can see that. Much of the story kind of was more Kuai Liang and Noob Saibot, really. That was like one of the B storylines to, Havoc, and if they feel like that stole the show, then that doesn't speak at all well to the writing. Just saying. And finally, the gamer gave the expansion a 2.5 out of 5, saying they can't make you overlook what is otherwise a weak expansion pack greatly overshadowed by NetherRealm's last offering, with the pros being that new fighters are all excellent additions, Noob Saibot in particular is one of MK1's best characters, and the animalities are a nice bonus, while the cons are that the multiverse focus is a boring mess, I talked about that, is incredibly short for the high price, and half of the content isn't even here yet. I do think that, when people expect to pay for something, they want it kind of all up front. They don't want this kind of sprinkled about. We know that given this expansion pack, it doesn't feel like it's the end, or is it? I hope not. It doesn't feel like it's the end. It feels like it was like a middle chapter. So if we know more content is coming, then they could have given us a little bit more than they gave us now, and we could have gotten more when that Combat Pack 3 comes. So that's what the critics are saying. So now what are the fans and players saying about Khaos Reigns? Because a lot of them have shared your thoughts, their thoughts on Twitter. So let's start off with the Thinny, who posted a poll asking MK fans, how do you rate the new story? Because I feel like a lot of people are giving the writing and the story most of their review, because that's the bulk of the expansion pack gameplay. I've seen people unimpressed. Out of 10,000 votes, which is quite a bit of votes, 5.6% said that the story was perfect. So not very many of y'all out there. 22.3% thought it was trash. That's getting higher. 30.3% said it was bad. So not quite garbage, but still didn't like it. And 41.8% said it was good, which is close to half. So the majority of the story was good. We're split down, if I would say that really we're more split down the middle, but the majority of y'all did not like Khaos Reigns, which is not good. NetherRealm Studios needs to take that into account as far as feedback for the next expansion pack if we get one. So these are some of the thoughts that were shared on X. So user Baganzi said that Mortal Kombat 9 had 9 writers, Mortal Kombat X had 4 writers, Mortal Kombat 11 had 10 writers, and Mortal Kombat 1 has 1. I feel like this is Warner's fault for cutting budget, but I don't want to speculate. It's not my place. I just wish companies were willing to spend good money on more talented artists for better quality. User Karma said, I don't think people realize how hard it is to write a story where you have to make fight happen 5+ times per chapter to justify the fighting game and the Mortal Kombat part of it. Just because something doesn't match your dream canon and it has its faults doesn't mean it's the end of the world. So I can understand how a lot of people have been complaining about the game, but we're buying it, we're playing it, we'll get through it. Just like in a TV series, it has good seasons, down seasons. We'll get back to where we need to be. The Thinny ultimately said, while Khaos Reigns was not bad, it was just a typical Mortal Kombat story. However, the ending could have been more built up. Totally agree. They leave things to happen, then they act where they could have they prevented things from happening from the start. It is what it is, and I would still look forward to part 3, which I think many of us do. Again, as I said, my review is available now, and you can watch it and share your thoughts down below. And finally, let's talk about how, I talked about in a previous video about the total MK. Everybody's welcome to share their thoughts online, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, whatever you want to do. But sometimes when people share their thoughts or they seem like they take it too far, it gets the Mortal Kombat community up in arms. So while people have been sharing their thoughts about Khaos Reigns, a particular user by the name of RainyJD on Twitter might have gone a little bit too far and by trying to get their point across, and they basically caused some drama. So the post that started it all said, I really hate to see a person lose their job, but it has to be done. If anyone else in the Mortal Kombat community thinks we deserve a new, better NetherRealm Studios story writer, please, I encourage you all to share and sign this petition with the link to a change.org petition. They continued with the poll asking, this is another post, just curious, if you were the owner of a business and you have an employee that's bad at their job and you constantly give them tips on how to improve, but they still can't seem to get any better and perform even worse at their job, would you fire them, yes or no? I'm all about sharing your thoughts. Those are definitely platforms where you can share your opinion, just like I'm kind of doing now. I'm providing what's going on, but also sprinkling my own opinions on things. I will say that we are not a part of the process that goes into making a video game, for one. We're not writers ourselves. Otherwise, if we were, we wouldn't be on these platforms, sharing our thoughts. We'd be, at work making video games. But I will say that we can all agree that the writing was not very strong for the Khaos Reigns expansion pack. I gave my own thoughts of how I would have done things differently. Many of y'all have shared how y'all done things differently on Twitter. The difference here is, while we say that and ask for them to do better, we don't ask that somebody be fired, or we don't try to get our point across further by saying, hey guys, let's all get together and let's prove, show NetherRealm Studios that this person should be, let's not encourage that. I think that's where we kind of take it into more of the toxic realm of fandom. And that's where a lot of people have problems. Now, again, this got the community divided on the issue. So, some of the feedback that they got from the post from RainyJD said, user Rodrigo Ramirez commented, dog, let it go. You're being an actual crazy fan. User Losty Girl, I know many of you know her, this is just harassment at this point. It's okay to dislike the writing, but to start a hate campaign is just ridiculous. User Cyborg commented, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. I'd love for the series to look and feel more like classic MK, more Enter the Dragon meets Big Trouble in Little China, less MCU. That was a perfect statement. I love that statement. That's very true. I like to think we can get there by expressing our desires to do so, not through toxic measures. I think that was the best one. Now, Brusque Poet also gave a very in-depth comment, and I wanted to read all of it because he has some good things he says on here. I've been very disappointed and have become very jaded by the direction the Mortal Kombat story has taken over the past few years, to the point where I'm no longer passionate about the modern game stories. I long for the day when MK fans can get a proper adaptation of some of the best storylines from the previous games that have yet to be explored. There's many of them out there. One that returns to the spirit and basics of a classic Kung Fu tournament while also embracing the expansiveness of the Mortal Kombat universe, seen in games like Deception that followed the first games. I understand it's hard to imagine this happening with the current writing team. However, the campaign calling for the firing of a head writer, Dominic Solo, is, in my opinion, not the way to go. It fuels unnecessary toxicity within a community that unfortunately has already been plagued by it for several years. Losing a job can seriously affect someone's livelihood, especially in the gaming industry where employees already face challenges regarding compensation. We must be mindful of what we are truly asking for. This doesn't invalidate anyone's desire for a change in the story direction of the franchise we all love. I want this change too. But we shouldn't encourage toxic rhetoric that muddles the waters of the real goal we share as a community. Perfectly said. Perfectly said. So, after all that, and many other comments and stuff that happened, Rainey tried to better explain their perspective on the issue and respond to the comments they were getting with, okay, before this really starts to blow up, let me just state for the record, I really hate to see a person lose their job. Probably wasn't the best wording, but at the same time, I never said that Dominic should completely get fired from working for NetherRealm Studios. While he didn't give any comment on the issue, Ed Boon made a big statement and blocked Rainey, which speaks louder than words. Many saw it online. Many were commenting about it. Some had things to say about Rainey being blocked in support, not in support. So user Next Elder God commented, due to Dominic writing himself into a lore hole, and since tower endings are canon due to this, Liu Kang putting Bihan in the Temple of Elements was useless because Sector done freed him immediately, and also this timeline technically no longer has a Sub-Zero, like what the heck. User Ukshut commented on Ed Boon's blocking of Rainey saying, ain't no way, Ed Boon, you really need to listen to these criticisms. For that matter, so does Dominic Cinciolo, but he's also had 13 years of criticisms of his writing, and it still hasn't really improved. The writing has been consistently awful since Mortal Kombat 9. It needs to change. Basically since the reboot of the reboot of the reboot. User Scander commented with, Ed Boon blocked one of my friends for telling him Dominic Cinciolo was crap at writing. I'm very surprised he hasn't blocked me for all the crap I've been talking deadface. User Liz commented, OMG, Ed Boon, come on, Ed. Now, passionate fans can't call out the bad writing that's happening to our favorite characters. Is Mortal Kombat above criticism? Read the room. Your fans are begging for a writer that cares as much as we do. User Amethyst said, for Losty, specifically what Losty Girl was saying, Losty, I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this, but besides this writing being an issue, that man is a whole Zionist, so it is really so ridiculous to be upset. It's like I said, it has people up in arms in both ways. I speak more to the crowd, of Losty Girl, Russ Poet. I still think that he said it I liked what he said. I like what user Cyborg said. I think there's ways to get your point across. You just don't have to be toxic about it. So, again, Ed's not going to give me comment on that. I'm sure this is not the only criticism he's ever gotten for him, the game, his team, etc. But, unfortunately for Rainey, the internet did not let up on them, and they ultimately deactivated their X account. And one of his last posts, they said, hey guys, so for the past few days, I've been thinking and reflecting, and I've decided to step away from Twitter for a little while. I went off the rails this past week, and unfortunately I've realized that I'm really starting to lose my interest in Mortal Kombat, and I've been very upset about it because I was so passionate about this franchise and have been supporting it since I was 10 years old. I've even kind of lost interest in making fan art. I'll still be posting on here every now and then, but I just won't be active as much because now I think that this is just a wake-up call for me to really focus on more my personal life, or as some would say, touch some grass. I've been attending college for a few months now, and there's already opportunities on the horizon for me. I might even start posting life updates. I also really hate that I effed up my relationship with the MK fandom. Rather you love me or hate me, I truly have enjoyed being a part of this community by making lots of friends, sharing opinions, and making fan art. But all I can do now is own up for my actions and accept that there's really no coming back from this. I truly love you guys, and thanks to the ones who have been supporting me, especially the ones who've known me since I first came on here back in 2020. Best regards, Rainey. So, while I don't like that, they got off of X, I think they could have stayed on and just let things kind of blow over. I think, as they were saying, I think overall for the Mortal Kombat community, there are highs and lows. There are people that share their opinions. I think this would have been, would have blown over. They apologized, and we can just move on, just be better. I think that's it. I don't think we're going to lose support of them. It hurts me when they say, they've been a fan of the game since 10, and now they're just kind of have to take a break and be done. It's just, it can be a lot. It can be a lot. I think everybody can share their opinion, give their thoughts. When they get criticisms, I mean, I get criticisms all the time for the stuff I post on YouTube, and I'm just trying to be a happy-go-lucky guy that shares his love for the game and for things online. But I just have to learn to, you know, not wear it so much, and just, people have their opinions, and they're going to have their opinions. Like I said, this is not as bad as like some of the stuff that has happened with like other users in the community, like Total MK. I think his was more, well, again, nobody should encourage others to getting fired. It's very similar in, you know, more the controversial things that have been said. And so I think that's what got Rainy JD in trouble with the community. So again, I think it would have been easily forgivable. They apologized, you know, we can move on. So I hope that they do come back and they do find their passion again in Mortal Kombat. Because I don't think at the end of the day that we don't want to cannibalize each other and cancel each other out and bring each other down. I think we want to at least point out maybe what we do wrong, but we still want to encourage each other to be better and still be a part of the community. Definitely share your thoughts down below about how you feel about Khaos Reigns, what the critics say. If you have been an active user in the Mortal Kombat community, or, you know, as an outsider looking in, what you think about what happened with Rainy JD. Love your thoughts in the comments down below. That's it for this video, guys. Please hit that like button. If you want more like this, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time on the mashup.